Hey, Dhruva, this is a problem that I was going to go over with you on Friday. It's the one that you recommended or that you wanted to look at, how to solve this algebraically and that you know how to solve this graphically. So these sort of problems are really important. They're important in this chapter, but really as you go along in, in math in the big picture. Okay, so as we see, we have two functions. And it says following the systems of solve the following systems of equations algebraically. Okay, so you said that you typically do this graphically. So if we look at this graphically, so we have this function here, and that's a parabola. Okay, and then we have this function here, which is linear. So you know that they don't have to, but they can cross in as many as two places. That's the most. Okay, and so whatever these places are, these points of intersection, like whatever x and y this is, this value of xy, when you plug it into this equation, it makes it true. That means you put in that x and it'll pop out that y, but it's also the case for this one. So it's the only place, both this one and this one down here are the only two places, I'll just make that different like that, y tack, that happens, that makes both of these equations true. Okay, so I'm sure you already know this. So let's go ahead and look at what that means algebraically. Okay, so system of equations. I'm sure you've done this a million times with linear systems of equations, and you'd use things like either elimination or substitution. Well, in this case, the way that they're set up, it's in this function form, y equals this and y equals that. And then this might sound like kind of a duh type of thing, but y equals y, right? This y has to equal the same as this y. That's a system. They're in the same graphical situation. So what I'm going to do is just replace on each side here, substitute. So 3x minus 10 equals 3x squared minus 2x minus 8. And so now we have an equation that we can solve. And of course, it's a quadratic equation. So like we do with quadratic equations, we get 0 on one side, and I'm going to bring everything over to this other side. So I have this 3x squared, so now I'm going to bring this 3x over. That'll give me a negative 5x because I'm combining it with this, and then add 10 to both sides. So now we have this quadratic that we solve here. Now, you should factor this because it is factorable, and I won't go through. I'll go through the factoring process, but I'm going to assume you know how to factor. Okay, so I'm using this X box here. You may use a different method. That's okay too. I'm just looking for these two product sum pair, and so up here it's 3 times 2, and this is a negative 5, so that's a negative 2 and a negative 3. So I'll put those in here. And then as I go through, I'm going to get a 3x, 2x1, and those are both negative. So I have my two linear factors, okay? And by the zero product property, okay, my solutions to this equation, okay, are going to be, what do we have? 1 and looks like 2 over 3. Okay, so these are our solutions, but that's the solution to this. It's not the solution to our system. What it is for our system is those two values of x are the two values of x of those 2 points that are in common. So as I put those in here, one of them, an x will be 1, another one will be an x will be 2 over 3. Okay, now remember, that's where these two cross, right? So there are x's and y's. So I have to plug this x into, and I can plug it into either one because presumably they're both going to work. So let's do the easy one here. I plug in 1 into that, and that's 3 minus 10 is a negative 7. Then I can plug in 2 over 3 into this one, and that would end up the 3's would cancel. 2 minus 10 would be negative 8. These are our points of intersection, and these are our solutions to the system. Now, before we just go ahead and roll away from here, I do want to make sure that you understand that this was just a tool that we used to find this. Okay, it really has no relationship to this at all. Let me just show you. So I actually made a graph over here. Okay, so here was our original system right here. Okay, and then once we did some algebraic manipulation, we ended up with this. Well, this system right here is this here. Okay, it's these two, and they intersect at these 2 points here. Well, this function, if we made this a function, like as y equals, well, when we set that equal to 0, so those are the zeros of our function, that is this one up here. And the zeros of the function happen right here, that just so happens, and that's this. The x value is the same, okay? But of course, this is a 0 to the function because that's what we solved, the 0 to the function. And of course, this other one here, this point, and that's this point here, right? And notice the same value of x, but of course the y is different. So don't be confused. Just know that you're going to take this system and you're just going to rewrite it as a quadratic equation, quadratic function that you're just going to solve, just like basic algebra 1. And it's these zeros that are going to tell you the x values for this. Okay, I know it's a lot, but this is actually a very important topic, especially here in chapter 4. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.